Oof. Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Global News Review. My name is Ola. I'm the founder of the Money with Club and olaoladile.com. And basically what we do with our expressions that we help people put their finances in order. And these episodes are basically to enlighten you on what's happening in the global African and Nigerian economy and how it affects your pocket. And so, if you, for example, have invested in something before and you did not know, like everything makes sense, and then something just came from the outside that you had no control over and just threw you over, threw you out, right? Then these sessions are for you because a lot of times people invest, they consider their finances, their personal finance in terms of saving. They also consider their investment, they actually invest. But the thing that most people don't consider is the economy. So that's why these sessions are here. So if you know that wind has blown that you had no control over and threw you into the mud, then these sessions you need to stick with it. And so subscribe, hit the notification button, and let's get with it. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the global news, right? In the global news, so we're going to be focusing on a company, General Motors. General Motors had a subsidiary, 90% owned subsidiary called Cruise. So, robot taxis. That maybe the first question I'll ask is that if they brought a robot taxi, first of all, say hi and where you are listening in from in the comments. And then the question is that if they brought a robot taxi to your city or to your town, would you ride with it? Would you ride with it? Let me see. If in Lagos, never. In any major city, almost never, right? Let me see. Which town have I been to? Which city have I been to that's quite sane? Maybe like in the hinterlands, maybe. But in the major cities right now, never. However, General Motors has been forced to shut down their robotaxi subsidiary called Cruise. Why they have to do that? It wasn't working. The interesting part is that they raised over $2 billion in 2021 to fund that project, and they had to shut it down. Like literally, just end it. Now, what does this mean? This has impact on investors. For example, what's it called? Microsoft was one of the investors. Microsoft invested about $800 million in that project. And there was so much noise about, okay, the future, the way things are evolving, blah, blah, blah. You know, the way everything will be packaged. But they had to write up about $800 million based on this particular singular event, right? But guess what? On the flip side, and this is how things are interconnected, while Microsoft is having to take an impairment loss or take a charge against their profit of $800 million, and of course, the impact to be seen in their P&L, in their finances, and in their share price, right? Google is jumping. Why? Because their own robotaxi subsidiary Waymo is going strong, and they are and the stock price jumped. Why? Because the less competitors they have in the market, then the more likely you are to be a market leader and to take over everyone that will place an order for such a car, if you get what I mean. Or put it out yourself. Do you get? You shall just take over the market. And so those are the things that happen. And you wonder why the one stock go up and and the other one went down. Like, yeah, this is the news that makes those things happen. Yeah. So stay with it. So I mean, going forward, the fact is that anybody, it's an R&D project, so it's not, well, yes, 800 million is a lot of money. Dollars is a lot of money, but it was an R&D project. An R&D project is research and development project. If it clicks, the person that is able to get it and get it right um wins. Now, I forgot to add that Cruise had to shut down because they had some incidents. And then I mean, on the back of the report and blah blah blah, they just had to shut it down, and they will absorb some staff. There's a lot of restructuring that's going to go into it and all. But these are the things. That's what research and development is about. And then the fact is, like I said, the person that gets it right wins. So if it's first to finish, that gets it all, and so that's that for US news. Um, Another news that came out of the US that was quite significant also. So Google did have a good week for two reasons: for the Waymo information, Waymo versus Cruise information, and then also for the fact that and they just announced a breakthrough in quantum chips. Now, this is like, the way we have like bytes, like we know the ones are the zeros, and then it's either a one or a zero. I'm not a tech pro or a tech sis. But then what they're saying is that this technology makes it so that the one and the zero exist at the same time, and so such that the ability to process is significantly faster. And as they're made able to make more of those chips, it actually reduces the error rate of the chips. So it's almost like it's like groundbreaking technology in the computing physics side of things, right? And it's a major breakthrough. So they're saying that there's some theories that had not been cracked in years, and based on this announcement, they have cracked it. Now, what does this mean? First of all, the world is changing. If you can see how AI is, if you see, I mean, there's conversations, I dare say, around how our laptops, the way AI is like a secondary product. You have to you log into ChatGPT and you use ChatGPT. The future of it is that your laptop would be embodied with AI naturally, and that's why there are fears around, okay, if there's AI and I can pull all these things together, why would people pay for ads? Why would you get AI can find where this thing is for you and show you this is where to buy this straight up. You don't need to see an ad. You get, those are the things that are evolving, and it's quite interesting. I see someone saying hi, and it's quite interesting, right? So with this, they're saying that Google has made like a massive progress in the speed of computing to be groundbreaking, and everybody's going to adopt it in the future. Now, if you think about the way everybody pretty much has a Microsoft laptop, right? If you are like most people are on Windows. That's how Microsoft, Mr. Bill Gates, everybody, that's how they entered into our minds, and they are like market leaders. There's no you get, there are no, like, everybody has Windows. It's either Windows or Apple, but Windows started it. Do you get? That's what they're saying is going to happen here, and we're excited for it. Now, why is it exciting in the bigger picture? Now, Alphabet is the company that owns Google. Now, Google is already having issues, because there's supposed to be an announcement coming up on the 20th, yes, or 20th of this month, about whether Google is supposed to respond to the Department of Justice to say how they are going to stop being a monopoly in the Google search, in the Google ad space, in the search and ad space, right? So them finding other ways to make money is fantastic for the shareholders. Them leading other things that the DOJ has not yet got into and is not yet trying to attack or pull down or scatter is good news for the shareholders. So what are we saying? Why do we highlight this? Yes, it's business news, but these are the things that flow into whether a stock price will grow or not. These little things that you see in the news, they are not necessarily little. There's a lot of work that got them here, a lot of years of trying and error that got them here, right? But this news that is like a one pager, right, is a significant thing in terms of where the stock price will go, right? And how you should be positioned, especially when entering into a new year. So these are the things that you should be thinking about, because we are thinking about it also. Now, if you don't have brain power to think about it, and you want to be with people that do and can discuss and you can ask your questions, then please consider joining the Money with Club. I dare say that in the new year, and this is our website there. If you haven't checked it out, please do. And I dare say that in the new year, I'm going to be coming out to other products that could help you, even if you are not at this time able to join the club itself. So sign up to our Substack newsletter, so that you would hear from us and also get tidbits about personal finance, investing, and the economy around the world, regardless of where you are in the world. Now, moving on to Africa. Now, this African news is actually, I mean, it's Nigerian, it's African news actually, because Dangote refinery did its first exports to Cameroon, and it's fuel, it's refined product. It's not crude oil coming from wherever, it's refined product. Now, why is this exciting? If you've watched The Men Who Built America and how these things evolve, you realize that like things are changing in front of us. It might not look like what we want it to be, but things are literally changing in front of us. Now, why do I say that? Because I mean, looking at The Men Who Built America, right? They had if you look at the videos of the quality of the video, the environment, there was no light. People were using lamps, blah, 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 blah. But somebody was making changes and building things across the country and connecting things. And then after a while, oops, there's light. Oh, after a while, oops, they are real. There's real. After a while, do you get? And those things began to happen. Now, I believe that this is literally what's happening with Africa and that we should be very, very aware of it, right? Why do I say that? Sorry, I'm trying to why do I say that? Because slowly and surely we are laying the foundations on the things that make economies grow. There's local trade, right? And there's cross-border trade. So what do I mean by cross-border trade? I don't have to ship too far to get to Cameroon. Cameroon is like beside us here, right? And then we are saying that finally Dangote is able to ship refined products to this country. Now, what does it mean for us as Africa, as West Africa? Number one, the cost of that fuel, even if it is in benchmarked in USD, is going to be cheaper. Why? Because the cost of shipping is going just based on time alone, and the fact that Cameroon is right beside us here is going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper. Number one. Number two, what does it do? So a company in Cameroon is importing fuel from Nigeria. Normally it should be in USD. That's what we've been doing all these years. But when we trade between African countries, because they're usually individual trades, meaning a small business, like silos, right? It's harder for someone to say, let's make this into a product and let's begin to trade directly between Nigeria, Naira, and CFA franc. Now, when you begin to have things like a Dangote of that capacity doing trade with the Cameroon, I dare say that it lays a foundation for us to begin to have proper trading pairs across Africa. What are trading pairs? The same way you have Naira dollar, the same way you have GBP USD, the same way you have what's it called? GBP euro, right? That's the same way across Africa we should have our trading pairs. Why does it matter? Because you don't need to cross into USD, then cross back into Naira. You don't need to, you get all those things matter. And what that means is that even if the external economy, the global economy has issues, if you are not directly impacted by it, you can literally do your trade between your currency and move on. Why? Because there's enough volume of trade to actually determine the price exchange. So meaning one Coke in Cameroon versus one Coke in Nigeria in CFA franc, what is the cross rate? Now, these things, it might look minute right now, but as we begin to do these things, and begin to build a critical mass. If, for example, there's a bank that has a branch in Cameroon and Nigeria, they literally, through the help and support of the central bank or any of these apps or softwares or apps basically or websites that allow you to cross, they literally at some point in time can actually have a proper trading pair. I'm not joking. These things matter. Like they really, really matter from an economic perspective, from a shielding your economy from the external world perspective. They really do matter. So if Dangote can start this thing, it is big ups for Africa as a whole. It is laying a foundation. And I dare say that as much as we know that there are issues and we are not discounting, the issues are massive, but let's also not forget the fact or lose sight of the fact that things are progressing. To put also into context, right? There's an economy around shipping, right? That if, for example, Cameroon was shipping from wherever, China, America, whoever they buy for from, whoever, I'm just giving names, random names. There's some people that benefit from it. That if there's an ecosystem between Nigeria, there will be a different set of people that will benefit from it. So it matters. And these are the things that we need to actually correct our economy and make it more resilient and actually begin to grow. So big ups to Africa. It's a win for everyone. Now, moving on to Nigerian news. Nigerian news, what's happening in Nigeria? Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, it's like somewhat soft gist, right? Not really soft gist. So Seplat finally closed the trade, and I mean, I drove by Mobil office and I saw the Seplat Nigeria logo where the Mobil sign used to be, and I just felt like, oh, E for energy. It's really cool to see. Yes, so there are two sides to it. The fact that Mobil had to leave Nigeria, um it's almost like one man meat is another man's poison, right? Because ideally, if everything was good, if they didn't have issues with onshore assets, if they didn't have security issues, blah blah blah, they probably would have stayed because they are making good money. They've made good money over the years, but somehow or the other, things have turned, and they just decided they made it the business decision 2 years ago to exit, and to exit to Seplat. Now, for Seplat, why is it good? Because I mean, is our local terrain. We can't go anywhere. So if we like, it's our responsibility to build, right? And maybe a foreigner is not willing to invest that much to build, but for us, we are forced to build, and we are. It's not people that just come and take money and then leave and make the money and leave and go and spend it elsewhere. It's that we are here, right? We are hiring our people. We are, everything is us, right? And so from that perspective, whilst it's not great news for foreigners to be exiting, it is where we are right now. And so the sale was actually signed initially in 2022, but the approval just came this year, and then the announcement just came during the week that the acquisition has been completed. So right now, they've absorbed all the Mobil staff, blah blah blah, all those things. And then Seplat is the new Mobil, right? And so what am I saying here? First of all, it took 2 years for them to get approved. Shell is also going through the same process right now, where they had signed a sale deal, but it was not approved by the government. And let's see. So if it took Mobil 2 years, let's see if Shell can do it in the same amount of time or less. But I dare say that the situations were kind of different. Like, the reason why it was not approved was quite different from the situation of Mobil. But let's watch and see how that plays out. However, I dare say that it's quite instructive to see that Seplat, that is a London-based, it's registered in London, listed in London, is listed in Nigeria. They pay their dividend in USD. If you don't know, they do. They actually pay their dividend in USD. And they are listed on Nigerian Stock Exchange. So if you don't know that, they are a good USD hedge. They are. And with all that is happening, they are still doubling down. So if you are an African and you are trying to run away from Africa, as much as sanity is very important, and I'm never going to discount it, because yeah, it can be very stressful, but have a leg, because the foreigners that are coming to see Africa as the next frontier, it's not because they like anybody, it's because there are opportunities. You might have to like rummage through to find the good ones, but when you find them, trust me, you'll be happy. You'll be happy in both naira and dollar terms. So for us in the Money with Club, we actually explore like potential unicorns in Africa, potential opportunities. We look out for them. We try to, there's a lot of question and answer and digging deep to actually decide, okay, let's go into this deal or not. But guess what? There are opportunities in Africa. And while we will do the developed south or developed north for stability, you would also maybe consider Africa for growth. That's just an aside. And if you, like I said, if you would like to know more, please join us in the Money with Club. Um, Oh, I forgot to mention, I made these shirts. So one of the things that we do is that we train companies. In my company, we train companies. We have financial wellness programs and stuff. So I went for an exhibition here, HR exhibition, and I wore this shirt, and I got tackled seriously. Like, why? Why am I striking out mental health? I said, because I put it to you that most of the mental stress that people are going through right now in this 2024 has something to do with money. Whether you're not making enough, whether you're not able to manage it, whether black tax is so much on your head, or whether you lost money from investments. That one I have to talk about it. But whether you lost money from investments, whether the economy is hitting you basbos, mental stress. A lot of people's mental stress is caused by money. If you agree, please drop it in the chat. But yeah, so we are here to help you. We're coming up with a program in February next year, and I guess we should start talking about it. We can have a program in February that will help you. And the theme of that program is Beat the Odds, where basically we're going to walk you through creating a plan, a proper financial plan to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be in terms of your financial goals, and what the foundations you need to put in place to make sure that that is secure. And so if you would like to know more about it, please sign up to our Substack newsletter, share with your friends, be a good friend, be a good friend, be a good friend, and have a beautiful weekend. Bye.